Welcome back to the channel, guys. So man, do I love it when a company who has never released a product goes on the defensive and starts shit posting and just talking a lot of crap, man. It really speaks volumes in my eyes. So taking a look here, Polymega, earlier today, this morning, they posted, hey, we got a huge update coming next week. They'd already kind of teased like, hey, we have something to talk about in March. Stay tuned. So there was some people excited for that. No problem. I'm still like, I don't know about all this, but so they post this, their little teaser, and oh my God, today has been freaking hilarious. These guys with their responses are just ridiculous. So one of the first responses from this guy here, if it's not FPGA support, I'm not listening. So I want to kind of look at a few of these responses from these guys and just see what kind of company we're dealing with here. So these guys, they're taking jabs at the people who are like, hey, you guys flip-flopped on the FPGA stuff. And it's kind of funny, some of the responses, because it just seems like, okay, well, if you could have done this easily, why didn't you, right? So here's their response, their initial response. Get smart. FPGA on its own is fraught with limitations. The makers of the Mega SG even tried to blame Sega for the technological shortcomings of their amazing FPGA system. Wake us up when it's compatible with 32X and 32X CD and don't have to spend an extra $100 on a dying Sega CD system, right? That, like, your first response to somebody saying, hey, if it's not what you originally promised and you flip-flopped on the day that you put your crowdfunding campaign into motion, I'm not interested. I don't care what you got to say. If you're going to go back and say, hey, you know what? We've heard what everybody had to say. We're doing what we originally promised. Then cool, but their response is just an attack on analog. Sure, they're not adding analog here. I haven't seen them, tag analog in any of their comments where they've kind of knocked analog. And it's just kind of nuts because analog, they're making FPGA based systems. Originally way back, they did a consoleized MVS, Neo Geo MVS, which is kind of neat. Then they started getting into all this FPGA stuff, working with Kevtris, doing some awesome work. There's definitely a lot of work involved in what they're doing. But for these guys to be taking shots at them, now granted, not to twist anything, analog has made their knocks too. But I'm looking at it a little different here. Like, analog wasn't being on the defensive when they did make a post a long while back, way like last year sometime, saying, hey, our system's full FPGA. It's none of this BS hybrid, whatever the heck that is. And a lot of people are like, what the heck is hybrid emulation FPGA? What is this? And nobody ever got a clear answer. So analog was like, hey, whatever that talk is, that's not what our system is. Our system's pure FPGA. But yeah, when you go through these responses, holy crap, the people who are getting involved in these guys. And here's the post from analog that they actually bring up, like, hey, they were attacking us, so we're going at it. But in reality, I don't even really see, like, analog didn't say, hey, Polymega's garbage, Polymega's BS, even though they kind of hinted at that. But analog's had a track record of releasing products. Polymega has not. So moving forward, I don't want to dig through, because there's a lot of responses. I've tried to pull the ones where it's just rather interesting, like this guy right here. They're on the defensive. Polymega. So foul-mouthed, slanderous tweets are only justified when the other guys are the ones making them. Just making sure I get your logic. So they're knocking people. Their PR, their public relations person here is just redonkulous, man. Just ignore it. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to reply to all these people. And if you're going to reply, maybe back yourself up, and instead of talking crap to everyone. That's all they're doing. They're just talking a bunch of smack. But here we go. Bigger project by far. More disciplines required. More vision. More challenges. I apologize that people have had to wait so long, and that patience has not been lost on us. Hope you guys understand that. So, like this guy, you announced FPGA, then on the day of pre-orders, unannounced it. Switched to licensed emulators rather than developing your own. Even the controller is licensed and rebranded. Like, and this guy, like, hey, I hope your news next week is tangible because you haven't shown customers anything. And this is the big problem here, is these guys, Polymega, we haven't had the time. We haven't had the time to interact with the community. We haven't had time to show, that there's any faith in our product, because we haven't had the time to spend answering questions on Twitter. Big project, lots of moving parts. One thing that seemed certain yesterday may not be true today based on a variety of factors. That said, the puzzle is nearly complete. Part of that makes sense. I understand that things can change. Things changed the day that they went into crowdfunding. The whole system changed. So I guess they want to be careful and not flub that up too much. But how much more could it change from it being FPGA, hybrid FPGA, whatever the heck that nonsense was, being flip-flopped over to just emulation, and that was it? And what do you have to lose now? You've already lost the trust of a lot of people. Some people are like, you know what, fine. This seems kind of neat. And hey, to me, there's no right or wrong answers. If you want to support a company, hopefully you get the product, and hopefully it does what they say it's going to do. And as long as you're gaming, who cares, right? But a company needs to treat their potential customers and have that perception on them as not a bunch of shit posters, because that's what it seems like with a lot of their answers here. They're so busy because their project has more vision, more challenges. You're building, and granted, their user interface looks fairly cool in my opinion, but them building modules that read cartridges and then emulate the ROM, what is that? That's been done before. Now, sure, they've got some work to be done, but at the same time, you look at the company that they're knocking, that they're criticizing, Analog. These dudes, sure, are they posting stuff every single day that's like, hey, bam, take a look at this, here's where we're at with development? No, not necessarily. There are some things here and there, but every day they are posting things showing their product working, showing the results that you get from using their product. They're teasing stuff almost every day, if not every other day. It's nonstop with these guys. Look at these games. I've even seen them still showing images from their Super NT. So they're like, hey, this is what we're doing. This is where we're at. Teasing it and getting people hyped up, showing that there's faith in the product, even though they don't really have to, because they've delivered everything else they have sold. But Polymega, they have to understand that they could easily just be showing these things. People wanted to see them doing live, swapping those Sega Saturn discs, doing Sega CD, doing all that kind of stuff. More specifically, I think Sega Saturn, showing that live with a disc. And they haven't showed it. They showed some footage way back when people kept pestering them. But this is the problem that I talked about a while back, is that these guys, instead of taking 2 minutes out of their day to show something tangible, they'd rather just say that they're busy. Like that's not a good view of a company in my eyes, who's an untested company, a company who has not produced anything and put it out there to have the confidence of the consumer. Like, okay, we'll give these guys a moment to shine. Like, they've done this before, they've done that before. If you're unproven, you really need to go out of your way to prove yourselves. Maybe they will with whatever their announcement is next week. We will be taking a look at that. But I just think it's ridiculous to not be posting little updates here and there. Any company that's doing any kind of crowdfunding, hardware, gaming, show some updates occasionally. You don't have to be like Analog. Analog's doing stuff almost every day, like I said. You don't have to do that, but at least every once in a while. I couldn't even tell you for sure how much time between, but hey, maybe every couple weeks, every month, whatever it is, show something tangible to keep that faith in your product, that the project you're working on, that people put their hard-earned money into, is actually going to be a reality. And these guys aren't very good at that. Their PR on Twitter is horrible. They're just nuts with this, man. What else do we got? This is the one that really annoyed me in a sense. Polymega could have been full FPGA easily, but it's not the vision we have for fixing the problems this industry suffers from. And then you have this response from Cosmic Katamari, so you lied. That's exactly what they did. What is the industry suffering from? I think this response here from Golden Egg is probably the answer. The industry is suffering for companies like yours that keep telling half-truths and changing messaging to support your own shortcomings. That's all they're doing. They backpedal on things, they attack, their responses against people, or it's just, oh man, I'm choking here, backhanded, just passive aggressive nonsense from these guys because they're having a meltdown. They're having issues. Like, just stay off of social media. You don't have to, if you can't interact with the community when you're a company trying to sell a product, if you can't interact with the community in a professional manner, sure, you could knock another company if you want. I mean, back in the day, Sega was, king at doing stuff like that, right? Like, I don't necessarily have an issue with that. Like, if you truly believe your product is better than somebody else's product, flaunt it. Like, who cares, right? If it's not true, it's not true. People will be able to, dig through the bullshit. But the thing I'm just seeing is the responses, the nonstop, like, you're so busy. There's so many moving parts. There's so much going on. But is today an off day? Like, is today just like casual, like, what is today? Tuesday? Casual Tuesday? Is everybody wearing Hawaiian shirts and just chilling at work today? Nobody's doing anything but shit posting on Twitter, talking crap to people. Like, I mean, social media is a weird place. Comment sections in YouTube's a weird place. Anywhere where somebody can give their input and their feedback and their thoughts can be a weird place. There's going to be people criticizing, talking crap, whatever. Best thing to do is just kind of like, whatever. You know what I mean? But these guys, they're on it. But if their system could have been full FPGA easily, like they state in this tweet right here, how the hell then? But that's what you hyped it up to be initially, and then you flip-flopped and said, well, we can't do that. And there's so many responses that I've seen from them where it's just kind of strange. Like, here, what was this? I'm curious, do your tweets represent the company and its employees? Or are these views solely coming from the salty person behind the keys? Probably both. Hey, at least they're honest. I don't really see a reason to keep kid gloves on. They attacked us. We're defending ourselves. Is that not fair? I mean, to defend yourself, maybe in a friendly, funny manner, like some companies do. It's kind of hard. I'm not a business. I'm not a company. I'm just a dude that talks about gaming, maybe works on projects, shows things on YouTube, sometimes shares my opinions. But, I don't really see a lot of these companies out there responding to potential customers in this fashion, because then it could be you're responding to somebody in this negative way, and that person that was talking crap, that attacked you, they may have never been interested. They may just be a troll, whatever. But then your response to them, just with the aggressiveness and talking crap about other companies and just that kind of stuff, it's okay if that was like private, one-to-one, you said that to that person, whatever, but you're advertising that. You're advertising that attitude. You're giving people something that is going to stay with them, that's going to shape what their impression is of this company. Polymega, they talk crap to everybody. They can't take any criticisms. They can't give us anything of substance. No, I'm not dealing with these guys. Who's this analog company that they're talking shit about? Let me go check them out, see what they're doing. Oh, they post updates every 2 days. They've got a great track record. Maybe I'll go to them. Oh, this company's making a system, a hybrid module, whatever the heck you want to call it, that you could play games, but it just emulates all of them. And to get compatibility for all these systems is going to cost me like what it would cost to buy a computer, like a decent computer. It's going to cost me hundreds of dollars, like over $600 to be able to play all these systems. Oh, a Raspberry Pi for $35 plays the same stuff that this does, emulates it just the same, but without physical media. Like, that's the only difference there. You're paying hundreds of dollars for something that takes physical media and just rips it and plays the ROM and emulates it with the same limitations, the same faults that emulation has. And granted, I like emulation. A lot of people do. And it's not an issue. If that's what you're into, that's the way you want to play. But these guys really, man, they gotta realize what they're peddling here and the perception they're giving people. Like, you need to show the value for your system, not this attitude. But hey, it is what it is. I saw this and I just seen this stuff unfolding all day today and just thought, wow, these guys are just, they're not really in it to win it in my eyes. Like, their attitude might be them being cocky. I mean, sometimes I like the cockiness of people and companies, but it's just, you're unproven, man. You need to take a step back. Maybe, you know, there's been a lot of companies that I follow and that I've bought products from who their public relations is a nightmare. They're just garbage. I'm not going to name any, but there's products from companies I have covered that their PR is just crap, is garbage. And then they realize at some point, you know what, we need to get somebody who who can communicate with people without an attitude, and then they fix that, you know what I mean? And it's like the same, you know, Polymega's got to learn from their mistakes, and this kind of stuff on Twitter to me is a mistake. Might not be. Let me know what you guys feel, what you think. Smash that like button. I'm really curious. Hopefully we'll see something awesome from these guys next week, but I'm not having my, you know, hopes very high. I wasn't going to buy this thing anyway, to be honest with you, but they could change that, right? They could change that. A lot of companies have changed my mind, you know, by changing up what they're doing, showcasing some awesome stuff. We'll have to wait and see, but hey, smash it, like it, make sweet ass love to that notification bell. With that said, guys, I will catch y'all next time. Peace out, bye-bye, and boom. Bye.